morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending which part of the world you're actually connecting from. I just want to welcome you to this show today. My name is Henry Moyo. I'm super excited to be hosting you today, and where we are talking about overcoming imposter syndrome. So I've been sharing these different series of different topics around every week. We are having any series, any topic that's of great interest that at least we're covering on a weekly basis. So every Monday, get connected. You can come onto our Facebook page or also visit on our website www.henrymoyo.net, where you can see some of our previous recordings, or you can also go on to our YouTube channel where you can see some of our previous recordings. So these are things that at least have been affecting so many people. So myself, I've been affected by most of these topics that at least I'm covering, and how I also managed to overcome them. And I believe I was not alone as well who felt this way, where you feel inadequate. And I can tell you right now, you're not the only one. So we're going to cover this one, overcoming imposter syndrome. When I started doing more about it, I started realizing, hang on, there are so many people who don't realize this is their situation. So most people experience moments of self-doubt, and that's normal. But when temporal feelings of negativity become constant and you don't feel worth maybe of the titles and achievements that you have earned, then it's time for change. You need to change, because studies suggest that about 70% of people experience imposter syndrome at some point of their career. So today we'll be discussing what imposter syndrome looks like and how to overcome the symptoms, so that you can step up to the plate and stop worrying so much, because many people do worry. So I know you might be asking, hey, what is imposter syndrome? So imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern of self-doubt where an individual disregards their accomplishments, and there's a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. In other words, this phenomenon reflects a belief that, well, you're inadequate and incompetent despite evidence that proves otherwise. I felt the same way sometimes when I had all my degrees and all my qualifications. There's a time I felt, hey, inadequate. So imposter syndrome is not considered an official maybe diagnosis by psychologists, but it is recognized as a phenomenon that could lead to disorders such as depression. So there were some ladies also who did a research on imposter syndrome. Was first identified in 1978 by psychologists Pauline Rose and Clance and Suzanne Imes. In their research, they theorized that women were uniquely affected by imposter syndrome. But since then, it has been shown that all genders experience this imposter syndrome. So maybe you haven't openly thought yourself that you're a fraud or imposter, but perhaps you've brushed off some successes, that you've achieved, such as luck or being in the right place or at the right time. And does this maybe sound a little bit familiar to you, where you don't feel like, hey, I don't deserve this success, or you feel like so the question is, why are these thoughts maybe harmful? So these thoughts are problematic because they are harmful to your self-confidence, which can ultimately hold back from future success and achieving your goals. So when you have feelings of inadequacy, tell me what thoughts goes through your mind. So if you can share on the comments below what really goes into your mind when you are feeling this as well. Just share what you feel like, and what goes into your mind when you have this feeling as well of when you have this feeling of feeling inadequate as well. So just comment below and just state what really goes through your mind as well. So Imposter syndrome can take various forms depending on a person's background, personality, and other circumstances. So, expert on the subject, like Dr. Valerie Young, has categorized imposter syndromes into subgroups. So, there is what you call the perfectionist, the superwoman or the superman, the natural genius, the soloist, and the expert. So maybe let's just go into it and look at the perfectionist. So perfectionism and imposter syndrome often go hand in hand because these personality types set extraordinarily high goals for themselves. They constantly worry about measuring up to those goals. So you might be a perfectionist if you have ever been accused of being a micromanager. You have maybe difficulty delegating, and when you do, you feel frustrated and disappointment in the results, and you accuse yourself of not being good enough when you don't reach the goals you have set for yourself. And also you feel as though you have to be 100% perfect or 100% of the time. So your personality type success is rarely satisfying because they always believe they could have done a better job, but that's neither productive nor healthy for you. So you've got the Superman or the Superwoman. All people who experience imposter syndrome are convinced that they don't measure up to their real deal colleagues or the people that they work with. And this category often tries to push themselves to work harder to measure up. And you might be trying to be your own super person if you stay later than the rest of the team, even past the point that you have completed that day's necessary work. So you get stressed when you're not working or find downtime wasteful, and you have to let so you have let your hobbies and passions fall to the wayside instead of dedicating your spare time to work. And also you feel like you haven't truly earned your title, so you feel pressured to work harder and longer than those around you to prove your worth. So imposter workaholics become addicted to the validation that comes from being busy, not actually from the work itself. Then we have the natural genius. So this personality type believes that they should automatically be good at everything they do. So if something doesn't come easily to them, or they don't get it right on the first try, judgment ensues. This might apply to you if you are used to excelling without much effort, and you have a track record of getting like your straight A's, and you were frequently told as a child you are the smart one in your family or peer group, and you dislike the idea of having a mentor because you feel as though you can handle things on your own. Your confidence crumbles when you're faced with a setback, and you often avoid challenges because it's uncomfortable to try something you are not really good at. Then the next category is the soloist. It's okay to be independent, but when you push away help because you want to prove your own worth, you could fall into this category. If you feel strong, if you feel a strong need to accomplish things on your own, and you often think or say, I don't need anyone's help. And when you need help, you frame your request in terms of requirements of the project, or rather than needs as an individual. And also now the last category is where you have the expect. So these are people who believe their competence is dependent on how much they know or what they can do. Assuming they will never know enough, they fear being exposed as inexperienced or unknowledgeable. So you're a person who really wants to know everything, or you think, hey, if I don't know something, no one will venture into it. So this could be you if you shy away from applying to jobs unless you meet every single educational requirement, or you're continually seeking out training or certifications because you think you need to improve your skills to success. You have been in your role for some time, but you can still relate to feelings as though you don't know enough. You immediately become uncomfortable when somebody calls you an expert. So, what causes imposter syndrome? So, factors outside of a person, such as their environment or institutionalized discrimination, can play a major role in imposter feelings. Having a sense of belonging fosters confidence. And if you're in an environment where people don't look like you, sound like you, or think like you, the less confidence you might feel. So, this is especially true when you belong to a group for whom there are stereotypes about competence, such as maybe women in STEM fields or minority student at an academic institution. But one thing I can tell you, there is no single answer for why people experience imposter syndrome. So some experts pin it on personality traits, and others focus on childhood memories or behavioral causes. Regardless of what causes those thoughts, there are ways to work through them. One, celebrate your achievements. So make it a point to celebrate the awesome things you do in the same way you celebrate the accomplishments of a loved one. So throw a dinner party, go out for drinks, or treat yourself to something you love doing. By cheering yourself on these ways, you start rewiring how your brain thinks and become more aware that you're doing an awesome job. So, sometimes practice some of these self-love mantras. Spend some time repeating mantras to yourself that boost your confidence. So try something maybe like I'm worth, I'm enough, I'm unique, I'm courageous, I'm great, I have something to offer, or someone, or you can rework some of your own versions as well, and tell yourself something positive and uplifting whenever you feel the negative thoughts, shame, or doubts creeping in. So, this is another method of rewiring the way your brain works, shifting from negative to positive. I always call myself, I'm a champion. I'm a leader every leader is looking for. So, be mindful of the way you treat yourself. It's okay to be humble, but if you're always rejecting praise or compliments, you're not doing any favor for your mental health. If you are serious about trying to shift the way you think about your own success, then you need to start being nicer to yourself. And if someone complimented your friend, you wouldn't step in and say, "No, it was nothing." So start treating yourself that way too. So when you do something great, accept the compliments that people say to you. So learn to take mistakes in stride. Mistakes are natural, they're part of learning. Thomas Edison said he failed 10,000 times to get the light bulb work. And this is what he said: I haven't failed. I just found 10,000 ways that won't work. What a marvelous way to turn around what many people consider as failure. Everybody makes mistakes, regardless of how perfect they may seem. The trick to moving forward and doing better next time is to do well on what went wrong. Sometimes mistakes are a blessing in disguise. Can you think of a mistake you made that actually made your life better in the long run? So look at some of those things that you made, and how they turned out. So don't just take a mistake as a learning point in your life. Act before you are ready. There will never be a perfect time to do something. There will never be. So just rip off the band-aid, press send, submit the application, do whatever it is that you are afraid of, because no one is ever 100% ready to do anything. All I can say is just do it, and do it now. So don't count on external validation. No one, not even your boss, should have more power than you to make you feel good or bad about yourself. No one should have that power over you. You can't control the way other people will treat you or react to your work. You can't. So if you're always striving to get stamp of approval in order to feel good about what you have done, you may never get what you're looking for. So don't let that drain you or hold you back from continuing on your journey forward. Do you place a lot of value on external validation? Most people do. We could all benefit from working on this one. So don't let anybody be in control and make you feel good or bad. Be in control of yourself. Review what you have recently accomplished. If you are feeling down on yourself for doing not enough, make a list of all the things you have done. If you have the opportunity, ask maybe a coworker or loved one who's up to date with your life to help you create this list. Just write down all those little achievements that you have done. You'll be surprised how you are worth. So often we let the bad stuff overwhelm the positive elements of our life. By rewinding yourself of the positive, you can provide yourself with evidence that you're doing great things. That's all you need to do. Look at the great things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, and talk to yourself and find those things that are really you have achieved. List everything so that you can see how you are worth. So sometimes we need a little extra help from external source. If you can't wrap your head around mantras and you feel as though, hey, there's nothing you can name that you should be proud of, ask for help. Turn to your loved ones and see if they have the band to talk it out with you. If not, ask a counselor or a psychologist, a mentor, or join an online forum. There is no shame in reaching out for support. So I hope this session has helped you and helped you to really look at it and say, hey, hang on, you know what? I'm the master of my life. I'm the one who can really control myself, and I'm the one who can take full charge of my life. So don't wait for validation from other people. Don't wait for that to happen for you. So do not be in that situation where you will need other people to validate you to be who you are. I'm telling you right now, most of the time, what we do as people is when we're having problems as well, we look at the wrong things to validate ourselves. Most of the time, I can tell you right now, people look at their bank balances. They go and look at their bank balances. What is it that I own? What is it that I have? What is it that I have to validate you? I can tell you right now, you're looking at the wrong things to validate yourself. Don't look at the bank balance. If you want to validate yourself, look at yourself. Look at the gifts that God has given you. Look at the skills that God has given you. Look at who you are. So when you look at yourself and see your skills that you have, I'm telling you, you will see that you're more powerful than anything else. And now go to work using your skills, using your talents, using everything that God has given you. And I'm telling you, your bank balance will change. Your bank balance will be completely different. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being part of this call. So leave your comment below. Tell us what thing that has really hit you or strike you, and we will offering some other trainings as well. So, but leave a comment below. Tell us what really has struck you. What is it that has interested you onto this session? And I look forward to be with you again on our next session on Monday, where we're covering another interesting topic as well. Thank you so much for being part of this call. God bless you. Transform your reality. See you next week.